All right, call the Administration and Finance Committee meeting to order at 8 o'clock on May the 3rd. We all rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have roll call. John Seitz.
Tim Brook. Terry Shea.
Aaron Palmer.
Kirsten Ware.
Jim Barrett.
Jim, welcome. Any public comments?
I have none.
Jim, any updates from your side of the house?
No, things seem to be going well. You know, we have a few little transitional issues, but they seem to be working out, and so I think things are going well.
What's the status on the dog park? That's the one we're all on about.
The dog park, the landscape plans are being amended by the applicant, but the building permits are ready to issue and fees have been given. Sorry, I can check real quick, but I believe that it was either issued last week, the grading and the structure, shape structure were issued, and we're working concurrently with the landscape plans so that they can get those done and resolved.
What was wrong with the landscape plans that caused us to question them?
I don't know what the corrections were. Maybe you can address that on the dog park.
I didn't actually know what he commented on, but the fact that they weren't actually looked at all.
Prior to, we looked at them, prior to that, they weren't looked at.
Okay, so somebody submitted, we commented that we had no landscape plans, as I understand the story. They submitted them, and now we commented on them, and now they're in the revision process?
Correct.
They have no, yes.
And we returned them to them in one day.
Return the comments to them.
Right, when they submitted.
And I would be interested in knowing what those comments were. It's taking them so long. It's been, what, a month since?
Yeah,
Couple of weeks, yeah.
maybe 3 weeks.
Okay. Could we have an idea of what those comments were?
I would assume the landscape architect kept a copy. That's normal procedure. But I wouldn't necessarily follow up and see.
But I'll find out. We'll see what he's got and I'll get a copy to Aaron for distribution.
Okay, I'd like to know why it's taking them 3 weeks to comment on the, based on our comments. Were our comments over the top? Are we being reasonable on this, on our approach to dealing with the landscape plans?
I would assume that what would also be normal procedure is if they didn't agree with the comments, that they would have made a phone call. That is normal procedure.
Well, I talked to the POA manager, and he seemed to imply anyway that we were nitpicking, so I just wanted...
Well, what we check for is not, would be state requirements for landscaping and certain industry procedures
Right.
and codes, so it wouldn't be, sometimes that may seem nitpicking, but
Well, I'd still like to know what, what those issues are, and that, not that we have any control over what state law is, and we've got to do our job and make sure that all the laws are followed. But at the same time, if people think that the laws are bad, that the laws are wrong, the laws are over presumptive, that we have a chance to know about it so we can write our legislatures or maybe do something about it if we see some inequitability within the rules. So we don't, at least I'm speaking for myself, I expect you to make sure the laws are followed, but I also want to know what people's concerns are about the laws, because we're have some influence to make some changes.
For dog parks that I've seen, it just seems like there's wood chips in the dog park area. So as a layman, I don't understand what landscape issues may be in the whole thing.
Well, I think a lot of it is there's drought tolerant, water, overwatering. There's the making, a lot of times people will put in landscaping, but they don't put in adequate water to landscape, We see issues with this a lot where, they put stuff in, but they don't put in the proper irrigation system to keep the landscaping alive and maintained. Part of it is, runoff, because we've got some issues, proximity to the lake and water quality. It's not uncommon, I don't know, I'm just shooting down a hole, I don't know who down there, but a lot of times when there isn't regulation and then you start imposing that, there's like, oh, let's test the waters. Let's see what they're gonna call. I'm not saying that's happening here, but that is what we see a lot. There are things that we've recognized in this that in the past may have slipped through the cracks. And so we're trying to tighten up so that we're in compliance.
And we appreciate that. That's
Okay.
one reason that we're excited to have you here, is that we can make sure that those cracks are filled.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we want to try to be as tolerant and as understanding as possible to, especially the POA, but to everybody, and understand their issues so that we can have a better perspective on where things are and a better dialogue.
I do want to say that a lot of the comments that Steve was directed to make was regarding the governor's ordinance that passed, I believe, in October regarding the water conservation.
Okay, is that a law, new law or something?
It is, and as of January 1, that became an ordinance for every city.
And what is that ordinance that you're talking about? What's the gist of it anyway?
Having to do with cutting back on water for all municipalities and public type venues as well as commercial. So for example, the POA went through and did a landscape replacement on the golf course and the medians because they were required to by the state.
Well,
I don't
That's
think that's,
debatable.
I don't think that's the case because it started before the drought requirements. But
They knew it was coming.
without any speculation in any of this, if you don't mind, just moving on. Jim, would you check and see what exactly is holding us up? What specifically it is, what the problems may be, get to the city manager so he can brief the mayor, so if it comes up at tomorrow night's meeting, he can speak from facts. Is that okay?
Yep.
Because we all have our conjecture in all of this, but if he knows the facts, I think he'd be better forearmed. So, what, deal with this anymore?
No, that's fine.
Actually,
We just are concerned, we need to know what's
yeah, we'll
going
make
on.
a direct phone call to Webb and find out what the problem is.
Are there any, if you don't mind,
No.
are there any other significant building activities going on other than home constructions or anything else like that in Morton's that we don't know?
I think it's just the usual additions and solar and those things like that.
In the past, we were getting a month or weekly feed on permits, requests that have come through and that kind of thing, so that we can be on top of what's going on and
Okay.
if there's any
We've been doing a monthly one.
Do they do a monthly? Okay. I'm wondering if that, my concern is if we've got an issue that has political consequence, we may need to take action before a month. If somebody comes in with a permit request that's obviously going to be controversial, we might need to schedule planning meetings or something like that. Waiting a month might be too much to wait if something important pops up.
We usually brief, in any projects like that, we would brief her on that, try to.
And again, I trust Aaron, but
But you want to,
I've got a responsibility as, you know, we do, in the planning realm of keeping on top of what's going on in planning
sure.
and trying to, anything that's got political ramifications to be aware of and plan the political aspects of it. It doesn't, you know, we don't mean to, you know, I mean, you've got to do what you got to do. You got to follow the laws and make sure the laws are followed, and that's, but there are political implications to things that we need to be aware of. In some cases, probably mediated.
Okay.
I've talked in the past about the median and the landscape out there, and it looks really good. I think they're keeping on top of the weed abatement, and I think it's pretty good. I see some dead plants and stuff out there, dead bushes and trees and things, and I realize that there's stuff that's going on with that. And that would be nice, since everything is starting to grow now, that we can see which ones are probably dead and which need to be replaced and what we can do with that. The thing that I can't come to grips with, though, is the hole in the wall on Railroad Canyon Road. Being that way for months.
Yeah, we just received all the bid documents from the engineer, and so I actually need to talk to Margaret about that, and we're going to get on that here this week.
Okay. I had a specific request from a constituent. Jim, got a specific request from a constituent, and I can show you a picture. It's in a flag lot, and this person lives in the front part of the flag lot, and the person behind him's driveway goes down the side of his yard, obviously, and not obviously, but goes down the side of his yard. He has a vehicle parked in his backyard, and because the person parks vehicles in his driveway, he cannot access his boat. He can't get in there, can't get out, and that kind of thing. And he wanted to know what could be done. He called the POA and other people, and nobody has any responsibility in that area. Is that something that is ours? Is that POA? Is that just tough luck you got a flag lot?
There should be an easement in place, and there was some discussion with one of the owners, I don't know which one, there's been a conflict between them. And the city doesn't really get involved in those type, but we can't get involved in those because it's a property easement issue, and that's between the two property owners, so it's really a matter between them and a civil matter that the city really can't take a side on. If somebody parks, if it's in the right of way or something, which would be the case, the police department could respond, but because it's private property and somebody's parking there saying, well, that's my property, well, no, I have an easement, it goes back and forth, and the city could really get involved in a, big litigation in that, so we don't take a stand on that and say it's a civil matter between you and between the two owners.
Just wanted to ask.
That doesn't sound quite right to me, in the sense that, why do we want to force those issues to court? I mean, this is, we could have people hurting each other and going to arms and whatever happens when people get mad and neighbors get mad at each other. We have no jurisdiction to mediate those kind of things. Is that correct? Anybody?
No. I believe the way it would be enforced, and over the years I've had situations like this, it's an issue in the title between the two properties, and there's recorded easements, recorded documents through the county, and it's up to, if somebody parks in my driveway, I don't live in a private, if somebody parks in my driveway, my neighbor keeps pulling up and parking in my driveway, I can call the police, and the police, it could be maybe a trespassing issue, the police could get involved possibly.
That's what I would see here. You've got a legal easement,
Yeah.
and the person is parking in the easement.
But I think even
Is
at
that
that point,
trespassing?
I think,
I'd like to offer something.
yeah, go ahead.
Flag lots, for example, imply, just by the word, that the flag belongs if there isn't a separate easement written to the side property, then that driveway belongs to the lot above. And therefore, for example, if there is no separate easement written on that flagged portion, the front lot has no right to come out the back of their property. So it would have to be a research done as to whether or not there was an additional easement on that flagged portion to the front lot. And it becomes a private property issue. And for example, if the front lot wants to bring an action to court for prescriptive rights, we've always used this for the last 20 years, then they would have to prove that.
I understand that, but if there's clearly an easement, and or if it's an ownership issue,
Yeah.
either one of those, it seems fairly clear cut that
Yeah.
there's a right to use an easement and a right to not have your own property. I mean, those
Yeah,
would seem to be.
Those things, for example, the
Is that-
city as a service could provide those documents, which are all online at the county. But, I mean, they're all accessible.
I'm not worried about documents, I'm worried about people, having to go to court when the adjudication, is fairly clear. If an easement is being blocked, it would seem to me, I mean, we're all dealing in legal, we don't have a lawyer here, but it would seem to me that that's wrong.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'll express, I'm disappointed that we're forcing people to court to deal with issues like that.
Well, we're hoping that's a last resort. Hey, come on, guys, this guy needs access to his property, and you're blocking it, can't you work together, But we can't, to quote Dr. McCoy, I'm a country building inspector, not a psychiatrist.
Well, I understand that. I think it's our responsibility to try to help neighbors be neighbors too sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay, I kind of understand part of it and don't understand part of it. His garage is right next to that easement, and he's got a door there, so if he comes in and out of his garage, he's going on their easement, and if he can't get to his backyard, but the lawnmower, unless he goes on their easement, that there should be a mutual, some kind of ability in that, but that's.
It suggests that there is an easement to the front property owner.
Doesn't easement imply that it's your property, but the other person has a right to travel
Correct.
through it?
That is correct.
So, in an easement, it would still be his property if it's an easement. If it's not a property that's owned by the other person, if
It's
the
their right
property's
to
owned.
use.
Yeah,
I have no idea well, you think it's since it's the side of his house that he would own it, and the people in the back would have the easement to access.
Yeah, it depends on how the map was actually laid out and recorded back in the day.
Well,
have these people approached you,
Not me personally, no.
has it approached the office though?
Yeah.
I would hope that when something like that happens, at least, like the common sense issue of is it an easement or is it is it owned property? The parties involved are fully made aware of what we know and we can provide to try to mitigate people going out with guns and shooting each other at the worst case.
This particular one I hadn't been involved in, there was at least 3 other phone calls that I had to do research regarding it. So,
All right, I don't mean to put work on your desk that we didn't contract for, but at the same
no,
time.
we're here to serve.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Just one last comment, we'll move right on. I got the phone call, can we help? I had no clue, and I thought I'd bring it up today to understand whether we have a clue or not. The people are looking for help, and I think that's what Tim was saying, looking for help, on both sides, have somebody mediate the thing and to come to some resolution, help them come to a resolution, I guess. Okay, moving on to the meeting minutes for March 1st and April 5th.
No objection.
No objection, so they're having no objection, both of the minutes are approved. Okay, claims and demands.
First of all, I'd like to say that there's a whole lot of checks I didn't understand this week. And every time I sign checks, I go, what the heck are we paying another bill to the county for? And, you know, I don't see any benefits from a lot of that stuff. Just a general comment.
Trivias.
Item 22270, page 10, attorney services. Damn near $10,000. I requested Aaron do what we were doing before, which was have a list of the invoice for the attorney put in everybody's box, so everybody can see how much money we're spending on, in my opinion, trivial crap, and that at least have some awareness that we're impacting the city's budget by our activity.
Let me just say, Jim, you're about to do that, that's fine.
What's that?
Don't feel bad about leaving, you got things to do,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
okay?
That's okay. Anyway, I just wanted to be,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm hoping that people look at that, or our fellow council members look at those attorney costs and realize that we're a big part of that bill, and I would hope that everybody involved realize, uses those services judiciously. It's awfully easy to, make attorney requests cost us a lot of money when we wouldn't be doing that if it was our own money we're spending. And we did just an added point on the attorney thing. We've got to do more than just do a rubber stamp, because there were issues in the past before you were here where we uncovered things that were not right about the attorney's billings, and Betsy knows about it. She agreed to the things that were adjusted, but we can't just rubber stamp those attorney bills. There have been issues where they were inappropriate in the past.
We let them go, but one of the things that's interesting in page 13 and 14 are a lot of refunds of a developer deposit. I've seen them in the last 2 months that we're getting a lot of money back to the developers, and I should have asked that question to them. You're getting requests and then people backing out. There's, I think, at least 6 of them, if not more.
Where people are backing out?
You got it on page 13. And then 14, refund of developer deposit, refund of developer deposit, refund of developer refund, and then on page 15, refund, refund, refund,
Are these
refund,
all 750?
857.
Well, that sounds like the whole
Yeah,
deposit, isn't it?
No,
No.
the ones that were coming across, these were at the most half, so it was
Okay.
what was used for the project.
Okay.
so that's a refund of not backing out, it's just what wasn't
What
used.
wasn't used for the project, correct?
Okay.
Yes, all the ones that I've seen in the last month or so, money has been used, so it's not a full refund.
Okay.
Is our deposit requirements realistic? I mean, are we asking for too much deposit?
That I can go over with Jim and find out, what they're seeing in projects,
Okay.
and, what would be fair for.
If you can just keep
running.
half an eye open on that.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's a lot easier to refund than to collect letters.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah.
That's the where it gets out of control.
Okay.
What's the Southwest Communities Financing Authority? Is that the?
Animal.
Animal? Page 22286, what's the FEB self-costs? 22286. Page 12.
February, that's the signal maintenance from the county.
Okay, thank you. Is there any way where something's not self-explanatory that we could have a parenthesis?
We can add to this if you want.
Yeah, just like something like that, which doesn't, you know what it is,
We're kind of limited,
in space, yeah.
yeah, space. There's always something we could add to this releases before you photocopy.
Why are we paying money to the California School Boards Association?
Or the,
22302.
that is the, we have a OPEB plan, which is a other post-employment benefit program,
Okay.
that we have to, next, not this coming year, but the year after, we have to book a liability for it. In order to do that, we need an actuary. And this California School Boards Association, because they do a lot of these actuaries, they employ an actuary, and I forget the guy's name, but he's like one of the top in the state. This is the cheapest we could
So
find.
this is to do an actuarial.
Yeah, on our OPEB plan.
Okay. Again, I know it would be helpful, so I knew what the hell was going
Well,
on.
but Gatsby 45, I should probably.
Well, I have no idea what the 45 is.
Okay, yeah, well, it'll be more descriptive.
That's one more than Gatsby 44.
That's true.
But yeah, it's the OPEB, other post-employment benefits. We had an unlimited plan, which we realized, and then when Nancy retired, she was the only employee that was grandfathered in. And now it's the PEMCA minimum, so it's not gonna be a big number, and I think Nancy's on Medicare now, so it's like $150 a month now.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, 50.
So it's not gonna be a big liability, but it's something we have to disclose in 2 years, getting a head start.
So this is only to deal with Nancy's?
Well, it's the
Actuarial
other
on
employees,
that?
the other employees have a OPEB plan as well, but Nancy's was, when she retired, it was 100% of the cost for healthcare.
Right.
But for the new employees, it's like 120.
Yeah, whatever the
PEMCA minimum is.
Yes.
So like if Aaron were to be here 10 years and then retire and his bill was $1,000, we'd only pay like $200 of it.
Right.
He would be responsible for the 800.
Is it a law that we have to do an outside?
That's part of the requirement.
If you have PERS Health, you have to have a full
Open plan.
Yeah, but do you have to have an actuarial established by an
Yeah.
outside agency?
Yeah.
Now you do because of Gatsby 45. In the past, you didn't have to.
Another way of sucking money out of it.
Transparency.
And then there's a new Gatsby which comes out next year, which is Gatsby 74, which will make us book this liability. So, and this is every other year, and that was the cheapest we found. We researched it and then online, and this was the cheapest we could find.
So the new law is going to require,
The new law will require us to put the liability on the books like we did with the
Right.
pension last year.
so, okay. Sorry, John. Yeah, getting nitpicky.
No, that's a good question. What I'll do is I'll have Michelle email me this, and then I'll add those to, and then before we photocopy.
We would just come up with a key.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
It's kind of, I think the key might be easier since you're going through it. And we can- without you having to add it to the one key that is things to add,
Okay.
just add to the key.
Perfect.
That works.
I've noticed, I noticed that our tremendous amount of money that we make a month came in a new form this month. And that was a sealed envelope kind of thing that you just pull apart. I don't know what you call that kind of stuff.
Paycheck stub?
Yeah. What do you call that when you open it up and it's a letter, but it's folded and
Pain in the ass.
That wasn't the one I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Uh, That's new, I take it, 'cause I haven't seen it before. Is there an efficiency with that or
Did you
something?
guys just do that? Is that-
Probably had no choice, it's just probably what the payroll company went to, so
Okay.
we don't really get an option of how they mail it. So it's probably easier for them, maybe.
I almost threw it away, but I saw it sitting, and I go, what the heck is this? They're offering me credit card coverage or something, the airport kind of thing.
It was in the garbage before I pulled it out.
I've thrown away checks this week.
Okay, well, that's good, so it's nothing that we're doing for an efficiency's sake, it's something that the payroll company's doing.
We didn't change payroll company, so I assume they're doing it for their own efficiency.
Okay,
I want to log another time for the 100th time. It pisses me off that we spend money to issue tickets, a lot of money to issue tickets, and I don't know where that revenue is ever recovered. It's clearly a disincentive for issuing tickets when you have to spend money to write a ticket and there's no recovery through the court system. If we have to spend money, we have a right to receive that, that money back if somebody's convicted of something. And it just seems to be an injustice that I'm going to keep bitching about because it makes,
Well,
it creates an obviously different incentive for enforcing the law.
They attempt to collect it, but most of these, they can't do anything legally, so we have the state interceptor program, so they send it up to the state, so like if you get a refund on your income tax, they can pull that money back.
If it's costing $100, we never see the return of it.
That's $100 to monitor the whole program is what it is.
Yeah, but it's each ticket they
Collect
write.
the tickets. We do collect money monthly on that. We could give you a list of that if you like.
We collect money from the courts?
Well, what happens is people will write tickets, or people pay, data ticket processes those things and deposits into our account.
Oh, so could I find out how much we get deposited versus how much we spend?
Sure. We can get a lot of reports from them, we can provide those to you as part of this.
I'd just like to make sure that I just want some assurance before I leave that we're not
A couple of years ago for
spending money to
Eastville,
issue tickets and getting nothing in return.
I did an RFP for Eastville a few years ago and interviewed about 4 of these firms, and Data Ticket was the most popular and the least expensive and the one that most people use, so.
I just want to make sure it's not costing us money to write a ticket. That's my concern.
Now, we're collecting some, but there's no way they can enforce this, they can't go out and arrest the people.
Well, I understand that, but, if we're having to charge 100, at least on one ticket, I understand they can't collect, but if we are charged $100, I'd expect at least $100 to be returned to us.
No, you're right. A lot of people, for a while there, the guys weren't writing any of these tickets. And so you can see where the revenues went from 45 a year down to like 10,000 a year. And I don't know if that was the direction from previous city managers or councils, but they were just issuing warnings and no tickets. And so,
aren't we restricted right now in the police know that we're not writing tickets until it's
these aren't police, these are the code enforcement.
code enforcement, okay.
The police, they handle their own through the county. But, these are the civil.
So,
It's okay. I just want to make sure we're not losing money.
I'll get you that report each month and put it in this packet. It's a simple thing to do.
Okay.
And you can see what we're collecting, what we're not collecting.
Okay. Even if I've seen one report that shows that we're not losing money on writing tickets, I would be happier.
Yeah, if we were writing 100 tickets a month and getting $1. I know the state intercept program works because they got me about 15 reviews.
Okay. That's the last one I have.
credit card review.
I didn't pay attention to it, but I don't think I have any.
Okay, the January, February financial statements.
What page are we on now?
Page 51.
51.
And then, we switched up this year, July through January, and kind of prorated the budget. I think we're in good shape, money-wise, year-to-date actual, compared to where we're supposed to be. And then for the law enforcement tends to lag behind a little. So you can see in April, we paid basically the February bill, so they're 2 months behind. And so I think we're progressing nicely. There's fire and medical, that is everything but that first quarterly payment that we incurred today. So I mean, from an excess deficit, I think we're right in line with where we want it to be. So we're about 74% of the budget expenditures. So I think we're progressing nicely.
And we're in line with where your projections were.
Yeah, I came out Sunday and I did the March statements, and I started going from March projected to the end of the year, and I should have that finished by this weekend. And I'll send that to Aaron, and that'll be the kind of the basis for the budget. But March came out very, very well too. We still don't have our second payment from the triple flip and our large property taxes, which we'll get in May. We did get in April, we got our Edison and our gas company franchises, and they're right where we budgeted, so we're doing okay there too. We did our big check at the end of May, and first part of June. So I think this year we will have a surplus for the first time in 5 years. So good job, Aaron.
Patting ourselves in the back.
You gotta take credit, because something happens, you take the blame.
That's true.
Get the credit while you can.
Well, and fortunately, I mean, John was on the council where we're very conservative and built up this reserve, and that reserve helped us through the last 5 years. Without that, so you gotta take credit there too.
And as you remember, there were times when the city manager, as such, said, I don't understand reserves, didn't want reserves. And that what we get is what we spend. Del Powers, I believe, believed in that. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
What's going on with animal control? Why are we so off kilter on that?
Timing of the bills, that's all.
It's just timing?
But right now, I mean, the way the budget's set out through February, or through January, on this page 52, which is through February, this should have said February. We predict we'd be at 120,600, and we're at 119,908, so we're at 99% of the budget, but that's 99% of the first 8 months budget. So that one is probably the closest thing that we budgeted correctly. Now, control.
I think it should be. I mean, it's pretty much a
Well, you
non-changing
tell
cost.
everybody that it's so easy.
That's why I was surprised by the variance.
63%.
Or
Point,
Well,
57%.
on animal control, 132.21 percentage total of budget used.
Page 51.
51?
Oh, just a timing. That was just a timing of 1 month. Yeah. So if you look at the February page on the next one, page 52, we got the bills in.
Okay.
Now we're at 119,908 of 120,600, so we're at 99.4.
But we've got months to go.
Yeah, we try to break the budget out as based on the cash basis when we paid these invoices in the past. Sometimes they don't always come in that month.
But if we paid 99% of the budget with,
But that's 99% of the 8-month budget.
Of the 8-month
Not
budget.
whole.
okay.
So that one is,
Again, I know we talked about this before, but in our budgets, I'd like to have a month-by-month breakdown. So,
well, this is the July through February budget. It's not the whole budget. That's the budget where we think we should be based on those 8 months, not 12 months. The 12-month budget was a lot higher, so that's what that is.
okay, but I still, it's hard to look at these because of the incoming monies and
I'm kind of confused because before we had the annual budget, and you said you wanted it month to month. Well, this is where I thought we should have been July through February, just those 8 months.
what I'm envisioning is a monthly budget by category.
You want, is it
during,
actual? You want current period actual, current period?
Right, that's what I'm envisioning, so that we can explain, discuss the variance between the,
For 1 month.
yeah. That doesn't make sense to you?
I've never seen it like that, but I could do it like that.
Or even a quarter, but just so that we,
Well, the first quarter would have been the quarter. But
yeah,
year-to-date actual, that's 8 months actual, and then I split the budget, which I thought into 8/12. So that's not the annual budget. I can experiment with this and show them to you if you
And
want.
usually there's a percentage budget total over the entire 12-month budget, so you can see, you know, because like you said, the big thing is that when do bills come in? I mean, sometimes you have the annual ones you pay in July, and so they're at 100% of their budget right away, some come in at the end.
that's why I'm hoping to get a month-by-month anticipated, you know, so that if the bill comes in January for the whole year, you know, we're not 0, 0, 0, 100% zero, you know, it really, it
Well,
doesn't.
that we would put, so like, let's say if we got, because some of like the insurance, we pay that in July. So if that was its own department, you would see insurance 30,000, year-to-date 30,000, budget 30,000, 100% of the budget.
Right.
And so I thought this is what you wanted, this is not the full 12 months budget. Before, remember, we had the full 12 months and then we had a percentage
But
of the
you-
budget used.
You've broken it down by month, right, when you do the budget forecast?
Yes.
I guess what I'm looking at is an explanation of where we're, you know, just like you do now, just to
We
talk
can-
about the variance on,
Yeah.
the,
We can put variances down here, that's no problem.
you know, to the monthly anticipated expenditure. So, you know, this doesn't give us a real perspective of what's going on a, not a micro level, but on a day-to-day functioning level.
But we used to provide a lot of detail for every department, every line item, and then slowly the council, we don't really want to see that, so we had like 3 pages, and this board then said, well, we really want 1 page now. And so we can go back to more details.
I don't want 1 page, I just want it broken down by month. I don't
Okay.
want a bunch of pages, I don't want the details of the, within the,
You want,
I just
so
want
you
to
would want to
categorize.
see this current period actual with that month's budget?
Yeah, current period actual, which is that month's budget, and current period budget.
Yeah, we can do that. We have those numbers. Okay.
So if we had this with the current
We
month,
may have to get a landscape to get an extra column in there, but that's fine.
so,
What we'll do is we'll do the current period actual, we'll put the current month's budget in there with the variance column, we'll explain the variances, and then we'll have the year-to-date with the year-to-date percentages.
sounds good to me.
Okay.
Can you get that, can you run me a
Send it
sample?
over.
and I'll-
Sure.
I'll
Sure.
send a copy, just to make sure that
Yeah, we have that information,
Yeah,
that's just plugging it in, I have it in Excel, I just have to cut and paste.
Please
the
move it,
columns.
yeah.
Because how we build this is by a monthly spreadsheet that shows each
It's-
one.
I know you guys saw that, but I
Okay.
just don't see that we're tracking
No, you.
variance on a monthly basis.
Well, we.
It's too
we-
big,
but-
Well, yeah, you guys might,
Right.
but I don't see it, you know, and a big part of this job is making sure you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's tracking things on a monthly basis.
Oh, yeah, that's easy to do,
Right.
it's an easy fix.
It's pretty easy to go to landscape.
Yeah.
And then add
That made me
The
feel.
column's already there, see, it's a space, I just have to drop it.
That made me feel a lot better if you had
No, that makes a lot of
Monthly.
sense, especially since the information's there already, and that's how we budget, and that's how we enter it into the computer, we enter it into it by month, in each budget. So
Okay.
that's based on kind of a history of a cash basis of when we collect and when we spend, so.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay, investment report. Talk about investment report, nothing, okay, and the user, UUT, I'd like to go to page E1. I think the pages prior to that, to art design. And it appears to be still very consistent. We go to page 90. That continues to show that for the fiscal year,
Correct.
helps to, I was thinking things are upside down.
Ripped and shiny.
Yeah,
May, but it didn't
Put
get
my
on
glasses on, that might help.
Yeah.
I wonder.
And for the total UUT, and we show the trend line is just the average for the year
So we could get it
that we anticipated,
Mhm.
that we've been well above that. And, you know, we can make some certain assumptions with electricity that it went down a little bit in November and December, back up again. One of the things we had thought was that it should stay fairly even because you got heat in the wintertime, cool in the summer.
Mhm.
But it did drop some, but not significantly. And water still is high. It's interesting that through the winter months, or through December through March, although March isn't in this one, but it is in the total. Divided that, well, it's 21,000, but it's not there for some reason, which is okay. But that it's still up there, and that we use as much water in July and August when it's really hot as we did in November, December, January, and February. Almost March was 21,000, so it's still fairly consistent. September was only 19,000, and that's a peak month. And, you know, is this part of the thing of we're using less water but paying a lot more for what we're getting?
Yes.
Mhm. And everything else remains fairly consistent except for the solid waste. CR&R doesn't really get that till the tax thing. Is that part of what you're talking about? We'll get the big bucks for the tax thing based on the property tax in this month?
The tax bills were due in April, and so we usually collect the big money in the May first part of June.
Okay, and so that would then hold true with CR&R?
Yes.
So that we should anticipate a big check from CR&R to make up this difference in the solid waste
Yeah.
in May, June, when that comes through. So it comes through for us, comes through for them, and then they come back and give it to us.
Comes from the county. If you look at the tax bill, there's tax codes, and you have a new tax code for
Which would really be interesting. We're not talking about that dramatic a number with them. You know, we're talking about $40,000, $50,000 a year, that kind of thing, but.
They have been collecting some on the commercial side over the year, not a lot.
Right, the dumpster.
Right.
Commercial stuff is on a monthly basis, so it's condos and stuff like that. But so we'll have some bigger checks. So what we anticipate in getting through the year at 900 and some thousand could be more based on CR&R, but we want to talk about $40,000, $50,000.
That helps.
Comment on CR&R, I do bins 2 or 3 times a year, so I've done them for the last 10 years. And the price has never changed, which seems strange to me because we've had this. So are they absorbing the, are we getting the, when I rent a bin, is that part of what I would assume that was subject to the UT?
Yes.
Well, bins are normally supposed to be $100 for the rental of it, and it don't.
Well, I get paid 96, but I've paid 96 for the last 10 years. But
I was rounding off.
yeah, but I would think that would have gone up because of the tax.
I don't know, but I thought that was part of their thing of being consistent, not increasing.
Well, maybe.
They'll be here in June because they're public hearing, because their rates are going up. I believe on your typical regular trash can, it's going up 9 cents.
It's just part of their normal.
Yeah, it has to do with their labor contracts and CPI. And so they'll be here, and then they have some other things. So you'll have plenty of opportunity.
But I thought that was a fixed escalator on the CC&R contract.
Usually it's CPI,
Yeah.
from time, period to period.
And we're not going to talk about the evergreen.
We will, I guarantee you. I will object. It's my last year to object to the contract.
Objective to the
To the
To
evergreen.
it, you know, biggest joke. Anyway.
If you don't do it now, it's like 50 years or something.
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years. So in June, you'll have your opportunity to break the rules.
It won't work.
Again.
I've tried it every year, I get voted down 4-1. What you guys see in that 10-year evergreen contract is beyond me.
They do contribute a lot to the community.
I don't doubt that, but that's just the worst contract, you know, how the hell are we supposed to know what a good price is?
See,
You
the
know,
city of,
Things change.
City of Rolling Hills is a little different. They have like their own trash fund, and they use Republic, and Republic gets an annual CPI increase. And so then it comes to the city prepares the roll, and then we put it on, and then we get $2,000 a month over and above the franchise for monitoring the contract. So we pick up an extra $24,000 that month. That's what 24,000 to switch. It's just so much easier to go with them.
I just don't like the whole premise that they never have to compete with anybody. You know, how much money are they making? I don't know, CCNR a publicly traded company?
No.
I don't think
I don't
they
think
are.
so.
I think they're
Somebody
small family-owned company.
Somebody getting rich off that puppy, you know, nobody sits there with the cost contracted.
That's why when they go to the dump, they say,
Yeah,
people
tipping
go, it
fees.
stinks, and people go, I just smell money. So, there's a lot of people making money.
Yeah. Video, if I may, or yes.
Go for it.
I just got hit with a bill this month from transferring from Files to Frontier, and they've outlined 3 columns as local taxes. You know, they got the paid fee, which is, I don't know, so the first time I'm realizing we're paying, what, 4,000 times 12, you know, whatever that is, $50,000 a year for that stupid channel that nobody watches. You know, I suspect that's mandated. but-
Well, yeah, it helps pay for the taping of the council meetings too, that you can use that money for that. So that helps.
How much money do we get from that? Is that, we get all of that?
We get about 16,000 a year.
But who's getting the other, that's my question, who's getting the rest?
We get it all.
We get it all. So if you go 4,000 times, assuming everybody's got cable, you know, if you go 4,000 times $1.31 or whatever it is per month, you know, you can do the math, that's a whole lot more than 16,000.
Well, we get like 1,500 a month from Verizon, right? And then like 22 per quarter, and then like 2,200 a month from the other company. There's 2.
Time Warner and Verizon. But assuming everybody's got cable, 131 times 12 times 4,000.
Well, Dish doesn't have it though, do they?
What?
Satellites
No, it's not like that.
don't do it, so you have to deduct the satellite. It would just be Times Warner, I believe, and
No, Frontier.
Frontier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's strictly cable.
Well, I assume everybody's got cable. And by the way, it's not strictly cable.
Well,
I was charged the tax on my internet connection, so,
the difficulty we have,
Is that through Time Warner or
through Frontier.
Yeah,
Is
same thing.
I think that Time Warner can come to every house, you could do 4,000.
Right.
Fios, Verizon's Fios, was not done to every house. It was done very select.
Yeah, but every house has got a cable in here.
That could be Time Warner, not just Fios.
most of the people in my neighborhood have Dish or DirecTV.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And now you will probably, over the next probably 5 years, see it reduce because people are going to, they're going to subscription services. They're going to go to,
Yeah.
you have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, well, Apple TV has it.
Roku.
Yeah. With their channels, right now, you're gonna see probably, you'll be able to pay for à la carte services. Sony's PlayStation Vue does that, and Hulu is going to do that here in the next couple of months.
You don't have to do 400 channels.
Yeah, you can actually pay for, you can actually go à la carte and pay for what you want. Sony, PlayStation Vue, you can do that for $20 a month. So Hulu's gonna start doing that, so I think we'll probably start, especially with the X's and the millennials, just see that go down.
That's a different generation.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing, bring the bill in and we can identify how much money we get for each of these. You know, the 3 fees, I think one is just franchise fee.
Right.
One is the
Which we really don't get anymore when the state took over in '07.
So we get no franchise fee on
I
that?
think we get some of that, not like we used to.
Franchise fee.
We don't get like we used to. When the state took it all over to the monitoring in '07.
Yeah.
We get some, yeah. It wasn't like we used to, and we're not responsible for it.
Yeah,
The
like
state
$80 grand a year.
to allow them to franchise.
I'd be interested in bringing a bill in and take a look at what.
Well, John gave me his
I already-
yesterday.
I already
You already
beat
did
you
it,
in.
okay.
It was $9 for the franchise fee, and then between the UUT and the other one was another $9.
There were
so-
two UUT fees that amounted to $9.
Yeah, one was the video and one was the.
Is that correct that we're supposed to be collecting against the internet? Is that part of it? I assume it is.
Yes, internet and phone.
Okay.
So you get triple dip internet, phone, and
So, yeah.
your cell phone.
Yeah, I don't have phone from,
So if you just had an internet bill, let's say you just had Time Warner or Frontier for internet, yes, you could.
I have to have a house phone, because I gotta call my cell phone so I can find where it is.
I got a Magic Jack that go on my computer when I need a house phone.
Well, it's still good to call your cell phone so you can find it, so.
Yeah.
But you don't answer that anyway.
No.
Anything else on
Yeah, I had something that was.
UUT? Just one thing that, that we talked about last year and voted down. And to me, it's a curious thing. This, when it passed, there was a statement that it would be audited and that kind of stuff, but not necessarily any audit any differently than anything else. And that, could we track where this money goes, and we really can't. It goes into the general fund, and therefore it goes. So somebody could say, what are you using it for? I don't know. It went into the general fund, it's just used for the city.
Can't really assign it to anything. I think that's the way the law is written too.
Yeah, and I understand that. It's just difficult, especially if you're gonna come back again in a few years and say, we need this. Well, how was it used in the past? We really can't tell you.
Well, this year, I think we're gonna have a surplus, but not a big surplus, so you can obviously see where it went, where it's expired.
It's pretty obvious, but that doesn't change the fact that there were allegations, people didn't understand, and people of import were making false statements about them, or supposed pretending to have import. There was something else I wanted to bring up, I forgot what it was, so I guess it's not that important, or I wouldn't have forgotten.
Well, it's just more to bring up later.
You can remember, as soon as you sit down in your golf cart, go home.
Yeah. Oh, God, it came and then it went again, darn
That's like my kids. Came, went again, came, went again, came, went again. You know that.
Yeah, I know that one real well. My daughter's probably the only person in the whole city that watches this channel, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, just,
She gets to see it.
we got 2 minutes left before 9 o'clock. I understand all of that Roku and all that other kind of stuff. Looking into that, since you saw my bill, $300 is a lot to spend for a guy that doesn't watch television much. But I do want the Golf Channel, and I do like Velocity. And so you gotta get, I don't think you can get that on Roku and all those other things.
Not yet, but probably give it a year or two, maybe some,
It kind of stuck not only having to get that, to get the Golf Channel, you gotta get the 240 channels in order to get the two that you
The
want.
basic cable thing won't get you anything but local stations, right?
Yeah.
Right, it's like $29, but there's nothing there.
Right, you need the $99 package just to have channels that you're not gonna watch.
Right.
Not the
So I gave you time to think. You
Yeah,
wrote it down.
I wrote it down.
And then he doesn't know it.
Okay. I mentioned to you, but I'd like to mention to everybody involved in the process, clear the budget, but I'd like to see an increase in, or at least look at the issues of the council reimbursement fees. Just anecdotally, I'm paying $40 a month for my phone, and it could be reimbursed up to $60, but I'm paying $60 for my internet, I can only be reimbursed $40. So that would make
I think in the past we had it where it was just 200 a month you could spend, and it wasn't tied to anyone's bill. You can go back to something like that.
We can make it a technology reimbursement.
And we had where the mayor was getting 300 a month, because he may have more appearances and stuff, and then the council
So
was
you have
having
phone, internet, you know, you have a tablet or a laptop or something, you have something tied to that.
Also, I'd like to see, since I'm not here, propose increase. The budget for conventions and crap, right now, I don't know how much it is per year for the council, but I prefer that to be up to the council discretion. And I don't get a whole lot out of going to some of these things that people go to, and other things I'd rather go to. I want to go to some of the building things. It would be more advantageous if I had some discretion over.
We could research the league meetings, where it is next year.
It's Long Beach, isn't it, this year?
Is it Long Beach?
So next year it'll be San Jose or San Francisco or Sacramento.
I don't know.
Because the next one's in September, right?
It's always in September.
We find out how much money we spend.
We need a budget.
Per year.
So it'll be in Long Beach.
On average for,
Yeah, can we do that? We can
Yeah.
put out a report.
We haven't
Travel
spent a
conferences.
whole lot lately, because people
And-
didn't.
it's pretty conservative council.
And typically, travel and conferences is a lump sum budget, so you should be able to use that at your discretion.
That's what I think. I think
Yeah.
it's silly.
I believe it should be a travel.
We gotta get-
Yeah, we have like categories
Yeah.
that we put it in, like league
Mhm.
meetings, this and that, and we could, yeah, I mean.
But the overall general one should be, typically, it's been my experience, travels and conferences, and that's your discretion.
Yeah,
That's what I prefer.
that suits the, the job you need to do. It's nice. And there are a lot of good public works stuff out there too.
You know, just to throw a little water on what you're talking about, for phone and
Yeah.
computer. It wasn't too long ago that for your phone, you had to indicate what the business use was for the calls. And you had to say that's what it is, and then add that up. Now, I have no idea. And part of the thing is you use your phone and you use your computer for reasons other than to sit. So how much is that worth? I don't know. Part of the thing, though, I think that displaces that, is that you need this.
Yeah,
And because I don't want to lose my line. Many years ago, I turned my line over to the city.
yeah.
And then when I left the council, they gave me back my line and all that kind of stuff. But if you wanted the city to give you a phone, that's paid for 100%.
Yeah, good if you wanted to.
Because I want my own, then I can get this fixed out.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I would just like to see the whole policy liberalized to reflect how people are actually spending for phone and the internet.
But I don't know that, I think you have to go because, if I gave them mine, it's $160.
You pay $160 a month for phone?
For my line, because I still have my son on, my daughter on, which was another amount. But then it takes it up, so, I can give you a bill that says $160 for my line, although I spent $300 for the entire bill. And what is there now?
Well, your line, from my perspective, that's one phone. What one phone costs you. The city shouldn't be reimbursing your kid's phone.
Well, that's a separate amount. The total amount for my phone bill is $300. My line is $160. Probably it's because I'm the baseline.
Okay, it's got it, so there's got to, and so, because you're base, I don't know.
And so all I'm saying is that somebody can say, well, it's unfair, because I only have one line and one thing.
Yeah.
I get this much, he gets that. I don't know. So I think a fixed amount probably is appropriate. It's just a matter of saying, no, it may be what your bill is, but not greater than.
That's what we got now, but not greater than 60. I spent 40.
I think it's automatically
For the
60.
most part, I don't think it's kind of.
Is it automatically 60?
Yes.
Yeah,
So even though I only spent 40 for my phone, I put down 60, even though the backup's going to show I'm paying 40 a month?
I thought it was automatic, but I'll double check on
It's on the expense form.
it.
It's pre-done, it's 40 and 60.
Oh, really?
And so you do it, you put it down,
Well,
it doesn't automatically put the 60 in, but you put the 60
that
in.
was my extra I'm 60/40 the opposite way. Anyway, and then if there are other ways that, I proposed, and I guess Betsy said it was illegal, having, increasing, providing a stipend for committee meetings, for $50 or something, for incentive for people to show up for the committee meetings. She said that was illegal, couldn't do it. But, we're the only one around that I know of that gets the base $300 and no
Well,
benefits.
You could, it'd be like planning commission, right?
Right.
Planning commissioners do, but they're not elected officials, right? They're appointed. So if you have committees or commissions of appointees, yes, they usually get a stipend. But
You
you
get
on the
that
other hand,
from like RCTC and those, don't you get a?
Yeah,
you get that one.
Yeah, I just thought for the local, we don't have that many, $50 to show up, like the incentive, give people a few extra bucks for sitting, we could,
Well, that you could build, we could look at,
well.
we could look at the council, stipend and build that into it.
Yeah,
And those-
Betsy says we can't do it.
But it is limited by state laws, how much they can make on
Yeah,
Based
but
on the
it's-
size of the city,
It
yeah.
could be increased 5% since 1968 or whatever it is, and we've never increased it to 7. And every other jurisdiction provides some sort of benefits associated with being on the council too.
Well, there are some cities that when they initially adopted their PERS, councils were eligible.
There-
That's a decision you have to make when you first.
Right. So I've had councils that do get birth requirements, some don't. A lot of them they'll get, usually with the general unit gets with regards to benefits, and it's usually cafeteria style, so if you don't take the benefits, you can't take the money, so it has to go into deferred comp, so you put it in 457.
I mean, you are entitled to health.
Yes.
Same as you do.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of ran into that Eastville, one council member who took the 1,600 or 1,800 and used it for himself. Two of them ended up having,
Great.
yeah.
I prefer that, incentivize a little bit of money now, we're not completely in the red. Just, we're not talking about much money, but at least.
Yeah, you're talking at the most under 40 million a year with everything reimbursed and fees.
I'd just like to see councils, now that I'm out of here, I can say that I'd like to see councils not having to work for $3 an hour.
It's really difficult to put a number on some of the league stuff, the league meetings and things like that, because when in San Jose, I spent a lot of time with people from our area, sitting outside the places and stuff.
Main benefit.
And, one of the things that the whole problem is, we could do this here, but we don't.
Yeah.
And we go up there and there's a, can we get together, put this committee together to force body contact in Diamond Lake? We should be part of that committee, and we work together to do those kind of things. And then Hammond got upset because the room they stood up, they thought he wanted us to back out. But that was, and I don't know where you place a dollar amount and know that anything like that is going to happen again. So it's difficult to.
Well,
And it's on relatively new people.
Well, I'm not, complaining about going to conferences, it's a benefit, but, for me personally, you can go hobnob, you're a better hobnobber than I am, but I would be better probably, well, maybe not. I would like to, anyway, be attending some of these building association meetings, because we're working back 60. Anyway, it'd just be nice to have a way of having that allowed.
But there's two sets of things. One, the neighbor should have an increased amount, maybe you would have increased the vote.
No, I wanted to attend the BIA meetings before I was mayor. And, because I've been working out back 40 for a long time. Anyway.
Okay. Now 10 minutes over.
Do you want to finish up with comments?
Yes. We've got 10 minutes. Okay.
Well, we need to set a workshop date for budget hearing.
Whenever you're ready.
And you want to do it June 1st, or you want to take a special meeting
through this committee first, have this meeting so we can get other things ironed out before it hits the council.
Do you want to do this, would be May 31st then, have a budget workshop for this meeting? Because that would be the Tuesday before the first. Is that Memorial Day?
Yeah, well, it's the week, that's the day after Memorial Day, maybe it's actually.
Day after Memorial Day?
Well, we'll see, we're gonna have this.
We need a 3-hour, 2 to 3 hour workshop
We
first.
didn't about
For all council.
Yeah, for whole council.
So, you agree that we should see it first?
Well, I would ideally like to see it first, but there might be logistical issues in the way. You know, I mean, it's gonna go easy for you guys if we get to vet it before.
You can set a special meeting of this committee anytime, and we can go through it first and then have the workshop in it.
That's probably the wisest thing to do.
Well, I'm just throwing it out.
I think that you guys are gonna have an easier time if we vet your budget before it goes to council, because if we have to bring up issues, you know, in the council meeting, people are gonna feed off the issues that we bring up. So if you hear our issues in advance, you're not gonna be
Okay,
as many.
why don't we set a special meeting for this committee to go over the budget at the end of, sometime toward the end of May, and then have the council meeting, have a workshop, what's that,
I don't think you're gonna be able to get it in, you know, Memorial Day, we're already,
for a special meeting for this committee?
Yeah.
I have a meeting on the 27th.
Third, actually, Thursday.
You're right.
That's the day.
So you want to do
26th
this
and
one?
25th.
Well, could we do it the first? I mean, could we meet in the morning before the council meeting, so you guys can kind of go over it, and then we can do a special meeting the week after? Sure. Is that okay to do it on the first, and then, you know, we'll do it in the morning on the first? Does that work for you, John?
Yeah, if you look in the morning, I've got a 1 o'clock, a 1 o'clock meeting.
It's fine, if we start at 8, we should be done with the line.
2 o'clock meeting Riverside, RTA.
It'll take 2 hours.
We'll figure we'll go over 2 hours and.
If we stick to the subjects, we probably do it in 2 hours.
Okay.
All right,
What was that?
okay, so we'll do that on the first, and then set a workshop for the whole council a week later.
So what do we have time for the
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Okay, well, let me just interject something. You have typically asked for a meeting in June, a special meeting in June. You may not need that special meeting in June if you're not in a date.
You think we'll be able to meet on the first in the morning, go over it, and then adopt it on that night?
Possibly.
Okay, let's do that. We'll go over the budget and with you guys. We'll put on the tentative budget for the first.
I don't know if you can though, because if there's stuff that changes for agenda, you
For
can't
agenda,
put it
yeah.
in for agenda for that night.
Well, that's okay, they can make the changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the proposed budget. You guys can recommend, okay, we went over it this morning, here's what we propose changing, leave it alone, whatever. Have the discussion among yourselves, because you're gonna, you know, even if the budget comes up great, we just have one meeting anyway. There'll still be, you know, changes here and there that you're gonna talk about at the meeting, so.
But that's, don't we have to then have another meeting to approve it before the July 1st?
Well,
This isn't approving the budget, this is.
We could have the public hearing and approve the budget.
The same day as the council meeting?
We just had it, as-
Yeah.
If they, how are we going to publish that if they've made changes to it?
No, it's okay, here's the budget that's going before the public.
Here's a proposed budget.
Right. They have a public hearing, people will make their comments. They'll make their comments, the council will argue back and forth, these are the changes we want to make, we don't want to make. Okay, here's the final budget, it's done.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, that happens all the
So
time.
we're gonna do it
Well,
by
in one day.
We can't, if you guys are fine with that, we can look at it this way.
Fine with me.
Here's how we look at it. When we go over the budget with you guys, if there's not a lot of heartburn, you know, changes here and there, you can bring that up in the council meeting saying, you know what, you've looked over it, it's fine, let's go ahead with the public meeting. No, I think the council needs another meeting about that. Make a motion to delay the public hearing, and we'll have a special meeting. We'll continue it to a special meeting.
Not arguing,
Right.
just saying something like it, but you know, we've always had it done, I think, Terry, in 2 meetings. Is it,
Usually we have like a 2 to 3 hour workshop, and then we bring it back.
well, there isn't like an ordinance where you have a first reading and a second reading. And,
No.
Not for the
You
budget.
don't need that for the budget.
No, not
We've
that I'm
always
aware
done
of.
it one meeting and then had to have a special meeting prior to to July 1st or.
On July
On
1st,
July
depending on
1st
the
to approve it.
Yeah.
We've always had a public workshop for a 2 to 3 hour workshop.
Okay, so instead of a workshop, we're just gonna,
We'll just do it as part of the public hearing.
and we can say the public workshop is our meeting in the morning.
So when we can invite the
I was
rest.
just trying to.
No, we
figure
can,
this out.
well, we can do that.
Okay, Google. Okay, Google,
That's against the rules.
May 1st.
So that's fine. I mean, I've worked in cities where it's usually they'll come in and we do 2 2-in-1s, and then we just put the budget on and that's that.
Because it's already been vetted.
Yeah, it's already been vetted.
Consent calendar.
So, yeah, so I've seen that, you know, I've seen it where they do, my last city, we did it, we must have had 3 or 4 workshops. And in Utah, you have to have, you pass a tentative budget and then you pass a final budget. It's a complete waste of time.
Last year, we didn't have too much controversy on budget.
No, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, and I don't see us, I see it pretty much being status quo for the most part.
Yeah.
There's nothing,
Because
There-
I think it'd be the fire, if we're gonna go another year with the fire, there's no
My
issue there.
concern was is there are people who-
The police issues, we can't do anything about.
I'll check with Betsy on that, to see, but as a generosity, I mean, yeah, I don't believe there's anything precluding us from doing one and done, including the public hearing.
I'm all for that, if that's.
We'll make sure.
How big is the agenda for the first? Is it big agenda?
And no, the only other thing we have on there would be the public hearing for CMR.
So we can spend as much time as we need to.
Right, and we can keep it light, and so CRNR is the only one that really has to
We were
go.
already planning on budget on being on July, or June
June
1st,
1st.
so we were,
Because, yeah, they were telling me before budgets are in July, and I like having budgets put through to June.
We've got July 1 only because of the fire issues.
So-
We're still on tape, so I don't necessarily want an answer, but I
Okay.
don't know how you plan on working the expense for fire.
Well, like I said, yeah, well, I
I
will,
don't want an answer today.
right, so we'll factor that into our budget.
Okay,
How's that?
okay.
It's a big issue.
Because we could do the budget and not have a system or whatever.
Right. Sure.
So the horse cart comes before the horse or whatever. Just,
No, I know where you're going, that's okay.
okay.
Well, we kind of somewhat did that last year when we adopted the budget going this way, and then we changed, and we just did the budget adjustment, but at least we had something adopted, so.
Yeah, we always said we could change and we really don't. And then we have a mid-year budget in April.
We did our mid-year budget in January this year.
I know we did. Normally it's been in April.
Well, usually I'm a person that likes to be accurate, and so, you know, receipts are 2 months behind, and invoices are 1 month behind, so if you go through February, you pretty much covered half of your year. This year we did through December.
February.
Okay, so,
No.
so we're looking to do something and get it done the 1st of June.
Right.
So do it
And
first.
we'll get done June 1st, worst case, it'll probably be the middle of June if you need one more meeting. We'll be done.
Yeah, we have plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
You still have that possible meeting in June. You asked for dates
Oh, for
that
LAFCO.
we may not need.
Right, we could use that.
That's why I was saying we have a tentative.
Right, we're waiting to hear back from
special
George.
meeting.
We haven't heard from George. Okay.
We may not need that, but then we could use
Yeah.
that one that you set up for that if necessary.
Yes, we could do that.
What's that date, so I can look at it?
I'll have to double check.
Which, I can't remember if it's the 8th or the 15th.
I'll have to
It's
double
either
check.
the
With either one.
Yeah, it's either the 8th or the 15th. I'm trying to remember, which,
Oh, the
it
following.
had to do with Jordan, and I want to say
It'll be on the
it's the
15th.
15th.
We'll let you
Yeah, we'll let you know.
I'll just mark out the date. And then start at 6.
Anything else, sir? Okay, we did 2 more comments, didn't we?
Important comments.
Yes, sir.
I gave you a
Terry?
No, just got some of John's. John's suggestions and we'll incorporate those.
I think Michelle's doing a great job.
She's a good person.
Nothing. Meeting is adjourned at 9:22.
Go back to her. She's working for the day and no career benefits if she's working. It's a good job.
You know, between us.
Oh, yeah.